Okay. Great poet Hail Mary Mallon once said, "Money, money, 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 mother suckers." Oh, then. Oh, shit. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry, Reuben. Just don't get it on the stage, they said. Anyway, you say what you like about money. It sure can make you look real classy. Money, paper, bread, dough, dollars, clams, coin, greenbacks, pineapples, Bezo Bucks, Lamborghinis, Jolly Green Giants, sweet cherry pie, Copper's honey, Expecto Patronum, Beefy Boys, Hughesies. Money. I really am so sorry, Reuben. Money makes the world go round. Or conservation of angular momentum, one of the two. Money makes money. When a mummy and a daddy mummy love each other very much. Money is the root of all evil, but can you get a root without it? Money changes everything. The house you live in, the car you drive, whether or not your cryogenically frozen head will be kept on the ice by future generations. That sense of true connection that you've had throughout your life with people you love. No, hang on, sorry, not that one, not the last one. I don't know if money changes everything, but sleeping with your husband's best friend certainly does. I'm told. I don't know if money changes everything, but money sure changes this to this. Or this to this. Should have finished on that one. Or this to this. Well, we'll get that off the screen now. To our teams. The affirmative team initially turned down the invitation to participate today until their fee was doubled, putting them in a very strong position to argue today that money changes everything. The negative team will argue the opposite, which may be true, as the $100 we gave Lloyd Langford to buy something nice to wear for the event has made no difference.
This is Japanese loop-wheeled cotton.
Well, you have quite the talent to make it look so cheap. Well, time is money, so let's get things started. If you are ready, people, money talks, but it doesn't sing, dance, or pack out the Malthouse Theatre every night of the week, so it is no match for the first speaker of the affirmative team, the expensive Reuben Kaye.
Great start, a homophobic spotlight. esteemed mediator, people of Australia and the soon-to-be Great Republic of Western Australia, honourable members of the population. Sorry, the opposition had a stroke in the first 5 minutes. I'll do the rest of the show to the left. Money changes everything. My name is Reuben Kaye. I'm an actress, I'm a model, and I'm the real reason Peter Dutton is buying all those tanks. I know that a lot of you tonight were perhaps expecting Joel Creasy to be up on this stage, but sadly, tonight Joel is filling in for one of the desks at Parliament House and really in his element. And tonight, I have the honour of being the team captain of the affirmative, a title that's just sports adjacent enough to be inclusive, but not homophobic. I don't want you to think of me as the champion of tonight, but I am known as the Phar Lap of Australian comedy, in that I have the teeth, the shiny coat, and I too have been stuffed by an American taxidermist. And what a night, here at the majestic town hall, in front of this huge organ, sorry Claire, performing for a city so middle class, if you had a stroke, you'd smell burning brioche. There's so much linen in this room, it's barely an audience. It's the Aesop customer base. And just looking at you, I get top notes of Mandarin, ylang ylang, and negative gearing. Of course, money changes everything. I can't believe that this is really still up for debate. We're crowning through a pandemic that, much like my prostate and Rupert Murdoch, resolutely refuses to die. We have an economy that's about to crash harder than Kerry Ann Kennelly hit the stage of the Lyric Theatre in Sydney. The planet is dying, people are dying, and we're still arguing over season 2 of Emily in Paris and trying to pretend that Pet Nat wine doesn't taste like a bush tuff rim job. Money is the thread of today's society's fabric. It's a fulcrum for change, for betterment, for affection and regard. Promises are made with money. The new budget that's just been released isn't a budget, it's a campaign promise. It's a bribe. It's a cash flow hand job, which is the only type of hand job I want from a sitting member of Parliament. Money even makes sex more comfortable. I mean, would you rather get blown on a $14,000 Eames chair in a temperature-controlled penthouse, or up against the dumpster in an alleyway with your foot on a syringe? I've done both, and I can tell you the former is better. But thanks to the second one, I'm down to my goal weight. Money changes lives. It changes viewpoints, and it changes billionaires from just vaguely objectionable to maniacs with God delusions who think, oh yeah, I'll buy Hitler's car. That screams freedom. It changes not only how you view the world, but how you engage with it. Money has become the driving factor in careers, in wars, in love. That's why all the good porn is behind a paywall. And what's love but paying $9.99 to be queer-baited by a muscle twink in Geelong called the Man Bucket? Look at this team. Honestly, we've already won this, just through the tokenism alone. Jewish, queer, Aboriginal, female, we are nothing if not oppressed. And to make things worse, Fern Brady is Scottish. The comedy festival collectively came when they saw this lineup. And if the Arts Council had any cash, we'd be rolling in it. Now, I know there's a lot of stigma attached when you see a Jew up here debating money, but in my defense, I was raised by Jews, but I was reared by Catholics. Money is the focus of everything. If you don't believe that, just look at every Conservative government that lowered the wages of healthcare workers while simultaneously giving themselves a raise in the middle of a pandemic. Their focus has never been one of a human cost, but one of economic loss. Because what are the poor but grease for the wheels of the rich, which I believe is the working title for Richard Branson's memoir. Money changes the way we lived through the pandemic, in that if you had money, you lived through the pandemic. Money changes everything. It changes how you live, how free you are, and how incarcerated you are. It can be the difference between a life sentence in a maximum security prison and a short stay at a low security DoubleTree Hilton. Of course, some things are just handled internally, as doctors have been begging me to do for years. For instance, in sports teams or religious organisations. Like if you're, say, Brian Houston, the head of Hillsong. Well, he was just disoriented after mixing anti-anxiety medication and alcohol, which is not the effect of doing that, by the way, because I'm doing that right now, and I'm not knocking on any interns' doors. My therapist hates that joke. But fuck therapy. My last therapist lived on a houseboat, and I refused to be told I've got daddy issues by someone with a chemical toilet. Wealth inequality is at an all-time high, and as climate change is literally lapping at our doors, we have Peter Dutton, our Defence Minister and the only Member of Parliament with a child's nightmare for a face, stop it, it's so accurate. We have Peter Dutton making jokes about Pacific Islanders drowning as the oceans rise while he starts a GoFundMe for flood victims. This country is wetter than me at a Melbourne storm warm-up, and they still won't pay out any cash. Money separates us from humanity and empathy because it's a buffer from reality. And let's not forget, by the way, that the first Aboriginal person to be nationalised as an Australian citizen was elder and artist Albert Namatjira. And the only reason we did that was because he was earning so much money, the Australian government wanted to tax him and couldn't do it if he wasn't a citizen.
And that's a white man standing on stage saying that, and I'm black. Tell that, sis. You better tell that.
So don't you tell me money doesn't play a part in minority visibility and liberation. You think the entire LGBTQIA++ Scrabble board community liberation would have happened if we didn't become a viable market? If it wasn't for the pink dollar, we'd still be wearing green carnations and using our secretaries to find secret hookers to come to our work and blow us under the desk. Which was actually the working title for the memoir of several public figures in Canberra whose names have been redacted. They wanted to be here to defend themselves, but it is very difficult to talk when your mouth is full. Companies now chase after the queer market with desperation, rather than desperately trying to chase people like me out of bars. But to be fair, I do violate several wildlife codes. And drag. Let's not forget drag. Drag used to be a subculture. It used to be punk. It used to be part of the rebellion, and now it's a marketplace, a confection for the masses. It's no longer about celebration, revolution, transgression, and societal upheaval. Now it's about whether you have the right pads, nails, the cut crease, and knowing how to death drop. At least, I'm not one of those self-indulgent queens with her own merch, though. Unless you look on my website and see my I can't believe I douched for this t-shirt. Or the signature Reuben Kaye, my gender pronoun is talented fan. Available, I'm busy! Available after the show and perfect for funerals and foreclosures. But what else are we going to go to in 2022? Did you like that one? Thank you. In that case, I forgive you for the bell and the money. All right. Drag performers used to be the high priestesses of our community, transgressive icons. And now we're just billboards, or even worse, children's entertainers, as can be seen on Channel 4.
When did you like dressing up like that? What age?
I've been dressing up like this since I was your age.
God, you must be well old.
My most viral video is one of me being kind to children. And not the one where I dislocate my hip and swallow a pomegranate whole, because that is behind a paywall and available on my OnlyFans. And to kick off this great debate, I say, good debating to my fellow teammates. Let's have a classy, dignified debate. And to Claire Hooper, the check is in the mail. And to my fellow teammates and the opposition, I'm going to say to you what my father said to me. Top that.
Well, such a pretty mouse. A penny for your thoughts. She was hoping for a better fee, but here she is anyway. Team captain for the negatives, the gift with purchase, Cal Wilson.
Good evening, Madam Chair, the affirmative team, the negative team, the other way around. Esteemed guests, my darling strangers. I don't want to start by getting all I am Spartacus on you, but if anyone who's the far lap of Australian comedy, it's me, born and raised in New Zealand, claimed by Australia. I was entranced by Reuben. He looks amazing. He looks like someone who would intimidate you out of a high-end jewellery shop. He spoke movingly of the lovely blowies he's been involved with, which I suppose is only reasonable because his groin is at everyone else's head height. Reuben, you spoke so movingly about a number of important issues, and I would love to see you go into Parliament rather than comedy. Money does not change everything. Most importantly, money does not change our team. Money does not change me. They offered me more money to be on the affirmative team, and I said no. They offered me even more money. I said no again. And then to save time, I said no. I would not change my mind, not even for all the money they would pay a man. I look at the affirmative team, two goddesses in a human Spiegel tent. And I find it hard to believe that money would change anything about them. Money could not persuade Fern Brady to say that she'd rather be English instead of Scottish. Money could not persuade Elaine Crombie to say, you know, Pauline Hanson has got some good ideas. Money could not persuade Reuben to tone it down a little. And look at my team. Are we motivated by money? Sami Shah started his career playing theatre sports in Pakistan. He's a stand-up comedian and a novelist. None of these are good choices monetarily. And Lloyd Langford, the man with more L's in his name than a driving school. Look at him. Look at those clothes. He's not motivated by money. He could afford fancier garments, but no, he chooses not to. He just squirms around in a laundry basket and comes out in whatever he's wriggled into. If there's one thing I know, it's that 98% of the people here bought an air fryer over lockdown. But I know the other thing I know about people is that we are flawed, sometimes brought low by our basest desires. And I know that I am because I bought 2 air fryers over lockdown. But what I really know is that animals have the purest hearts. Money cannot change the pure, unconditional love of an animal, but that pure, unconditional love changes us. Those big, beseeching eyes gazing into yours going, please, please, can we have a puppy? Please? And you saying, stop putting that voice on. If I'd known you were going to do that, I wouldn't have married you. Most of us here are pet owners. I couldn't find evidence that Reuben has a pet, but he does use a microphone with a horse's tail, and I'm pretty confident he's walked at least one person on a leash. Is that two people on one leash or one person 3 leashes?
That's just the amount of fingers.
Elaine Crombie has a pet. Elaine Crombie's dog has its own Instagram account.
Oh my God, that's my puppy! It's my puppy, everyone. Please go and follow him. Sorry, Cal.
Before she got that dog, could she have imagined that she'd end up managing his social media, making a foray into being a PA for a Shah? Sami Shah's got cats. Sorry, he's got, hey, my pretty girls.
They are. They're so pretty.
Before he even got those cats, would Sami have stooped to using language like that? I think not. He's a grown man. Fern Brady's got cats. who apparently tell her, and I quote, "Shorty telling me my pussy fat like Lizzo." I've got cats. This is Pirate and my engagement photo. Deeply regretful of how much texture you can see in my makeup in that. Let's move on. But let's not forget Lloyd. Love has changed everything for Lloyd. He doesn't have a pet, but nearly as good, he's just become a father. Pre-baby, he was a hollowed out, empty husk of a man with the dead eyes of a shark. Coasting along on the lazy charm of his whimsical accent, riding on Anne Edmonds' coattails like a listless canal boat towed by a sassy, talented, homegrown draft horse. Look at Lloyd here without a baby. Look at that. Look at the haunted, desperate eyes, wearing a mask to hide the fact he can't even fake a smile. And then, wonderful Anne Edmonds had a baby, and I would like to emphasise at this point, Anne is his partner. He hasn't just become obsessed with the friend's baby like it's the final instalment of Twilight. Although they did call the baby Renesmee. Sorry, Gwen Renesmee. Baby Gwen arrived into the world, and look at the change in Lloyd. Look at Lloyd Langford now. He just goes around radiating love and light, smelling slightly of mashed banana, like a rumpled Care Bear in a stained T-shirt. Money couldn't change him like that. Money couldn't change the way he feels about his child. But it's not just our own experiences that show us that it's not money, but love that changes everything. Let's turn to popular music. As the Killers remind us, are we human or are we dancer? A lyric exploring the existential question of whether we are in fact people or just one of Santa's reindeer. Sure, Cyndi Lauper, a woman after my own hair, had an 80s hit with her song Money Changes Everything, but should we live our life by the Lauper? I think not, because she also said girls just want to have fun, which is untrue. Sure, we do want to have fun, but we'd also like to have respect, autonomy, and to be able to jog after 7 p.m. without worrying whether we'd be blamed for our own death. Cyndi also said in another song, she bop, he bop, and we bop. I bop, you bop, and they bop. Bebop, bebop, haloo bop, I hope people understand. But quite frankly, Cyndi, at the time we didn't. It was only much later that we were told that Cinders was talking about self-pleasure, rocking the little man in the boat, rattling the chickpea, twirling the toffee apple, wrestling the iguana, grappling with the groin gorilla. And while we do all, I hope, at times grub about in our own undergrowth, the sheer scale that Cyndi Lauper suggests is frankly overwhelming. I suggest we look to another song from the 80s, the best era, back when songs sounded like music and used lots of different notes. Let's look to the song that sums it up. Love Changes Everything by Climie Fisher. Climie Fisher, a name you won't have thought of since 1987 if you were even born. Climie Fisher, a name that sounds less like a band name and more like a bird. Tawny frogmouth, slaty flycatcher, there's a Climie Fisher. As an aside, I don't know who names bird species, but they really give it their all. An Angolan slaty flycatcher is a real bird, as is the spotted creeper, the spangled drongo, the brown noddy, the bristle tyrant, and the vampire ground finch. All real, even the brown noddy, which just sounds like Enid Blyton trying to claim she's not racist. And somewhere in this audience, a twitcher is moaning under their breath that their favourite bird, the vampire ground finch, has just been name-checked in a public forum. Their heart is pounding like a punch to their chest that now they are not the only person to have ever heard of the tiny bird that lives only in the Galapagos and occasionally drinks the blood of other birds, particularly the blue-footed booby, also real. Even more magical, perhaps there are two twitchers in the audience who have just recognised a kindred spirit from the identical noise of excitement they both just made. Ha-ha! 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 Perhaps after this debate is over, they'll find each other in the corridor and act out a little mating display with some leaves and twigs and white wine. And they'll fall in love, their lives forever altered by a joke, by a reference to a song called Love Changes Everything, which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Love will change everything for these lonely, hypothetical birdseed-smelling souls. Money couldn't do that. If I give you $10, would you go bird watching with me? That's not going to work. But love and Climby Fisher have altered everything. And that was only on the way to the point I was trying to make. Do you know what money changes? How conscientious you are about checking all the pockets before you load the washing machine. That's all. That's all. As Whitney Houston saying, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if we need any more proof of that, let us look to the affirmative. Affirmative team, you are sparkling gems. None of you would stop doing what you are doing, being who you are, for money, because all of you know the value of being you at your most authentic. Reuben, Kaye, showing queer youth, showing all of us that it's more than okay to be yourself. It's utterly fucking glorious to be yourself. Elaine, Crombie, proud Yunkanjara Warragame woman, an actor, a composer, a singer, a comedian standing on the stage tonight. Who could be more deadly? And Fern, Brady, representing young, attractive Scottish women who own cats. All of you, vital. None of you would change yourselves for money. None of you would erase yourselves for cash. And no one here would want you to. All we can remember is the cry of the Climby Fisher. Love makes the rules from fools to kings. Love changes everything. Maybe it's just me.
Actually, I think you'll find I'm far lap. Because I spend a lot of time at the Melbourne Museum and I have a really enormous penis. But I left him at home. Money doesn't grow on trees, but you can glue it to a fern. Second speaker for the affirmative, the duty-free Fern Brady.
Money changes everything. Really my core belief. In fact, the only way this debate could have been more perfect for me was if the topic was, money is the best thing in the world, being rich is amazing, or I love my lovely money. Money totally changes what I will and won't do. In fact, when they asked, do you want to do this fun debate where many respected comics have gone before you? It's a real honour to do for the Melbourne Festival. My answer was, Christ no, I want to eat Easter eggs in my pants and speak to no one till it's time to do my show. When they said, there's going to be money for it, I said, what an honour. Thank you so much for asking me. Oh my God, I can't wait. Really, this dynamic has been a constant in my life, ever since I first realised you need money to do stuff. Show me your boobs would result in a slap for men in the street, but show me your boobs for $50 seemed a reasonable request to me, so I did it. That's obviously not true. Showing my boobs cost $60. For those of you who don't know, I paid my way through uni by stripping. I have to say that I did it for uni, because that way, you know, I was one of the good, virtuous strippers rather than just slag. Having money can mean all the difference between flipping burgers in McDonald's and crapping yourself in the engineering branch before going on to run the country. An urban myth, apparently. Money will mean the difference between living on Mars with our new overlords, King Elon Musk and Emperor Jeff Bezos, and fighting people with sticks for the last remaining water on Earth. Show me a problem that cannot be fixed by money. Depressed? You can buy Prozac. Sore back? Book a massage. Historical rape allegations from before you were Federal Attorney General. $1 million blind trust to pay the legal fees in your defamation case. Money changes your happiness. My parents brought me up with the attitude that money doesn't buy happiness, but they never saw me strain my neck trying to lick my left tit on stage. Which is a good thing in some respects, but by God, it would have defeated their argument immediately. I'm from a country where money changes your life expectancy. If you can't afford healthcare when you're ill, your life expectancy is going to decrease. But on the flip side, I also participated in paid medical trials when I was skint. I once got paid to get the flu for 10 days. Thousands of people all over the world now are getting flu-like symptoms every day for free. Like, I worked that disease like a drunk Groompa bee on his bucks night. Made my money out of that. Money changes where you get to live. If you don't have much money, you might have to live in a shithole. With a guy called Jared who's addicted to ketamine and keeps giving your stuff away. I wanted to put in a local reference here, so I googled and found a website called Shit Towns of Australia. They awarded last year's prize to Frankston and said it was situated in Melbourne's sphincter, so by that logic, we are right this minute in its epiglottis, where I, a financially successful comedian, am now being paid to live in a fancy hotel for a month. The irony being that I have money, but I don't have to pay for where I currently live, while outside my hotel, there are people with no money who can only dream of living in a dump with a ketamine dealer called Jared and 3 very frightening women from Northern Ireland who sell your stuff every time you leave the house. It's in the past. Right, I knew that my opponents were going to say some twee Disney nonsense that money doesn't change everything. I knew Cal was going to mention her cats. Cal has like endless cats, so she's probably going to say that the love of her cats is better than money. But her cats are rescue cats, otherwise known as cats you get for free because you couldn't afford anything good. You saw my cats, expensive pedigree cats, where I don't have to deal with their tedious and complex psychological problems, which may or may not involve pissing in the pantry and shitting in your slippers. Money changes how attractive you are to others. Like, actually, I was going to make a joke about how Lloyd had a big mad Welsh face, but he's even got more attractive since going out with the much more successful comedian Anne Edmonds. If you're a woman, this is physical. You can make yourself more physically attractive. You can buy your hair if it won't grow. You can fix your nose if he says so. Wise words from TLC. And ones that have gone on to be my guiding principle in life. And I would just like to take a moment to thank Dr. Charles East for my new nose that I got in the lockdown, as well as the many orphan children who donated their hair for my hair extensions. If you're a man and have enough of the stuff, women will politely pretend you're more attractive than you are so they can benefit from your money. Money can literally buy you a new face and body, which in turn gives you more status, which results in people wanting to give you even more money. Look at the Kardashians. They've shown that money can transform you from ugly to beautiful, apart from the big tall one, but still. 10 out of 10 for the effort. Women have had to learn more than anyone else in this world that money changes everything, both in official prostitution and in its more socially acceptable cousin of marriage. We understand more than most how much money changes your power over others. Look at the gender pay gap. It's 13% in Australia compared to the slightly higher 16% in the UK. And I feel that the impact of this can be seen all around you and you're very confident, sassy women. Well done, Australia. Women in Britain literally cannot afford this level of sass to men. Welfare. Money won't make you a nicer person, say my parents, 2 morons who lived in poverty their entire lives. Shut it, Mum and Dad. I can literally buy therapy to make me a better person. But does it help you spiritually? Some of you are saying to me. Yes, you can get a spiritual guru once you're rich to counsel you through any guilt over tax evasion or exploiting your factory workers. Money can't get you into heaven, but it can get you into nightclubs, business class, and the vaginas of women who are better than you. All of which are actual, real, tangible things rather than heaven, which is just pretend. Sorry, Jesus. Money will keep you alive longer because you won't have to flat share and end up murdering your flatmates when they drink the last of your milk. Most people who do murders are either very poor or too rich. So rich they have to push people off their super yachts to stop them telling their secrets. The money you make will never buy back your soul, said Bob Dylan, a man with a net worth of $500 million. I flew here business class. The main reason money is good is because you really enjoy seeing other people having less of it. If we all had the same amount of money, it wouldn't be as fun. But peeking through the curtain of business class into the Hieronymus Bosch scenes that make up economy before returning to my fresh fruit platter, oh, that was what really made the experience. Because I'm autistic, I can only say things bluntly. I'm very rich now, but because I'm Scottish, many people in Britain think I'm poor. People don't like when you reassure them that you're rich by saying, it's okay, I wasn't shoplifting, I am extremely rich. I have learned this the hard way. You have to communicate your wealth in non-verbal ways through status signifiers like pointlessly small handbags, Instagram pictures of you in an infinity pool, or cars that are a different shape to other cars. I don't know. A Princeton University study found that making $75,000 per year is the sweet spot for happiness. There's an actual happiness point with money. Unfortunately, the amount to make you happy rises in your 30s and 40s because increasing amounts are required to make your children love you, repair your aging, ugly body. I guess buy coffins for your parents' funerals instead of kicking their naked bodies into their graves. Oh, okay. Do I finish now?
No, you got another minute.
Oh, I only have one more thing to say, and it's about yous. A study actually showed that Australia's happiness peaked in 2009 with the last ever episode of McLeod's Daughters. That same study, by the way, showed that happiness is now becoming more unaffordable for Australians, though I'd like to remind you that my show is only $35 a ticket and will create memories which last a lifetime. Thank you.
Well, I've never been so pleased to have packed $50 for the after party, so I'm not sure.
She actually said that it was $60, so I reckon you could just see one complete tit. And then just the lump of the other one. I don't know if that's
Or 5/6 of both, like just lose the...
Now you're talking.
First, you get the money. Then you get the power, then you get the women. And then you get the second speaker of the negative team, the wisely invested Sami Shah.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me here. As is quite obvious, I'm sure, I'm here to fill the diversity quota tonight. I'm the only straight white man on the show. I know what you're thinking. Lloyd is white. No, he's not. Lloyd is Welsh. They are the browns of the whites. And actually, with Lloyd and Fern both here, it's nice to not have the most impenetrable accent on stage for once. It's a relief. I would like to begin by asking, what even is money? We know what it purportedly does. It makes the world go round, it talks, it takes time, or rather time is it, and some say it can't buy happiness, but it can certainly rent some at a good hourly rate. But that is what money does. That is not what it is. We can't understand something only by the effect it has on other things. If that were the case, then we'd think sex was that thing that results in me sitting on the edge of the bed and saying, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Do you want to try again? And she's got the blanket over her head and she's like, just don't look at me. Like, that's what turns me on. That analogy only works if you don't think about it. To understand the question at hand as to whether or not the money changes everything, we need to understand what money even is. And so, let us turn back the pages of time to the days of yore, before internet, before electricity, before high-speed travel, before even the creation of cities, and before the time I started saying before a whole lot, which already seems so long ago. So, let us go as far back as 40,000 years ago. That's right, the era known as the Upper Paleolithic, which was a lot more energetic than the era that followed, the Downer Paleolithic. This was a simpler time. Our ancestors had just killed off those pesky Homo neanderthalis, or Neanderthals, as they're more commonly known, or One Nation supporters, as they're most accurately known. Humans were spreading out, settling large swathes of land. Indeed, this is when the first human settlements were formed by Aboriginal Australians in areas which are today Sydney, Perth, and Melbourne. That was, of course, the last time Perth opened its borders. Or anyone ever willingly moved to Perth. Archaeological evidence shows us that in this era, tribes of humans traded with each other, not with money, but with what is known as the barter system. The barter system is when you get something you want by giving the owner of that thing something they want. It's largely organized on Facebook groups for your local suburb by the most annoying aging hipsters in your neighborhood who use it to offload their used sex toys. No one's giving you a toaster for your nipple clamps, Reuben. No one. Let it go. The barter system had limitations, however, as explained by 18th century Scottish philosopher Adam Smith, who in The Wealth of Nations described an imaginary scenario in which a baker living before the invention of money wanted, quote, a butcher's meat. His wording, not mine, Adam Smith could have written Mills and Boons, is all I'm saying. But the butcher had nothing that the baker wanted. Adam Smith then wrote, no exchange can, in this case, be made between them, proving that Adam Smith never gave a hand job in the walk-in freezer. Daddy's got to have his prosciutto, all right? At some point, humans realize that they can't keep swapping handies for dinner. At least not as the primary method of economical exchange. And so the first terms of money were created nearly 5,000 years ago in Mesopotamia with the Mesopotamian shekel, giving birth to the phrase, shake your shekel maker. Soon, young Mesopotamians were spending money on shekels and hoes. Middle-aged Mesopotamians were singing about working hard for the shekels, and Mesopotamian debt collectors were saying, bitch, better have my shekels. In fact, so important was the development of money to human civilization that the first evidence of human writing we have is not a poem, not a story, nor praise for a ruler or a declaration of war, but a receipt. Writing was developed to make receipts because receipts were the only way of proving you bought something and you paid for it. The oldest evidence of writing in the world today is a receipt for 5 sheep, 1 fully grown lamb, and 4 grass-fed male young lambs, which means they were about to eat some killer doner kebabs. The bottom of the receipt, of course, offered discounts at BWS. See, the creation of money allowed humans to develop in ways that would not have otherwise been possible. It's as old as humanity itself. With money, we were able to pay fair rates for goods and services. Rulers were able to collect taxes. Warring tribes were able to settle disputes. Conservatives were able to come up with bullshit ideas like trickle-down economics. And your parents were able to negative gear the rest of us into a lifetime of rental properties. And I've been able to obsessively check my comedy festival ticketing report every day and see just how poor I am after deciding to follow my fucking dreams. See, as humans have evolved, so has the way we use our money. Coins were recognized as a form of money at the beginning of the first millennium AD. During this time, someone could squeegee your chariot in exchange for a stamped silver or gold coin when you stopped at the lights, often without waiting for permission. And this tradition still continues today. From copper and iron coins, we went to gold and silver. The value of a coin was in the value of the material used to create it, which is why there aren't many coins made of poo. That changed, though, with paper money, invented by the Song dynasty of China in the 11th century, because it was even more portable than coins, which were themselves created because they were more portable than livestock and was getting to be a real pain inserting cows into parking meters. Paper money was a big change because the paper itself had no value, but it represented the value of the coins you had at home. And that was huge. Money was no longer worth anything itself now. Its worth and value was in a promise built on trust. We trust that this piece of paper has value, and so it has value. The moment that that trust is broken, it's just a piece of paper. Money is as real as a child's trust in the belief of the existence of Santa, or a married man's trust that his wife will not decide to have an affair 3 months after they got married, leaving him with an $80,000 wedding debt, which he has to pay off because of his argument that money is just a promise built on trust, should therefore invalidate the money spent on the wedding when the promises and the trust of the wedding were built on were broken. So why should anyone have to trust anything ever at all? But the bank doesn't buy that as an acceptable argument. Hypothetically speaking, of course. I'm fine. See, this is how we end up with things like Bitcoin and non-fungible tokens, which some people pretend they understand, but is basically a new form of money created for everyone's younger brother to invest the family savings into. Because he thinks he's a genius on the verge of a new frontier of discovery, even though no younger brothers ever, anywhere, have ever finished fucking high school. At this point, you're probably wondering what my point is, and that's a good point in and of itself. See, money is as old as humanity. And if that's the case, then money cannot change everything because money is everything. Money is language, money is trust, money is human civilization and development, money is trade, money is politics. Sure, money buys you advantage, especially if your name is Christian Porter, and you have $1 million legal defense fund that prevents me from making any more jokes about Christian Porter. But money allows you to rise from the depths of poverty towards a position of advantage. Apparently, no one's actually seen that ever happen before. Money creates art. And I know that that's true because I'm being paid right now to stand here and say this dumb bullshit. And yes, money also causes wars, and money also brings misery and suffering and pain and debt. But guess what? So does love. So does pride. So does water and food. Because money is a part of humanity, and humanity is pretty fucking stupid. And if you disagree with that, ask your anti-vaxxer younger brother who believes Bitcoin will make him rich while also believing Daniel Andrews threw himself down a flight of stairs just to get some sick leave. And so, in closing, money is everything. And so it cannot change anything. Which is why I need you to subscribe to my Patreon so I can pay off that fucking wedding debt. Thank you very much.
Sense a real backstory with that younger brother. Can't wait to hear all about it. The best things in life are free, but you can save them for the birds and Elaine Crombies. It is time for the third speaker of the affirmative, the priceless Elaine Crombie.
Hi, everyone. Cal, thanks for bringing attention to my dog. I see you didn't follow the page, though.
He doesn't post enough.
talk to Bear later about posting. Money does change everything. I bought this jacket. This is Ivy Park. Thank you, Beyonce. And you're brown, bro. Why are you not making money? Like, you're ticking boxes. People would be throwing, like, I'm here, hello. So, you know, I've got nothing for you yet because I haven't heard you talk. It's fine.
Oh, you'll enjoy that.
You're my weakness, I'll just tell you that right now. No, not rich. I am a poor man with money, which is not the same thing. Gabriel Garcia Marquez said that, and that's definitely what I am. I'm a poor man with money. I'm a single mother of 2 brilliant sons, and for years I've hustled to keep up. You know, pay rent on stolen land. Thank you. Thank you for setting the standard, because I'll always say that now and expect a clap. I don't hold on to money well. It has to be spent, knowingly and unknowingly. Thank you, Afterpay and Bundle. No shade to those apps. They come in handy when I'm out window shopping and the spirit moves me to acquire something. Anything. I mean, my lads love it too. They're a walking Culture Kings ad, thanks to Afterpay and Bundle. They love it. They're forever sending me links to outfits, shoes, bags, caps. It definitely helps, but you always got to pay your debts, right? Don't worry, I constantly lecture my kids about paying your debts, paying your way, because money changes everything. Oh my God, but I love Afterpay. I'm on that mint level Afterpay, you know, like it's the best. You don't have to pay anything for 2 weeks. Instant gratification. Wait, am I explaining Afterpay to everyone? I mean, honestly, who Afterpaid their tickets to get here? Hands up. Oh, I think you all got money, eh? You wanted to come here and see our beautiful faces, and you just paid for them tickets straight out, eh? See? So, I just lost my way. I found it. That's right, okay. How did you get to the theatre? Where did you park? The closer to the theatre. A closer park means less time walking, the comfort of your own car. Comfort equals money equals comfort. Throw money at the situation just to get where you need to be. One of my biggest dreams growing up, also yesterday, in fact, was winning the lottery. Like, can you imagine winning Powerball? Like, you wake up one day and you go down to the local newsagent to check your ticket, and then you wake up to old Norma from behind the counter trying to pick you up off the floor because she told you that you were the only Division 1 winner from last night's lottery that jackpotted 10 weeks in a row. Come on. And don't gammon like you fellas don't think about it. Everybody wants to win all of that money. What would you do? I'd buy everyone a house. Like, when I say everyone, I mean all my brothers and sisters that I grew up with, my mum, my dad, and then like my proper sister girls and brother boys, and then my siblings, and then all my other mums and dads. The list is long. I'm black. There's no such thing as a short list. Years ago it started out, everyone gets new cars. And then it went to houses. And now it's like, be practical. Just pay off everyone's debts. Oh, pay off everyone's Afterpay and Bundle. Now, I'm aware this is the 4th time I've referenced Bundle and Afterpay. This is not a sponsored post. I'm not an ambassador. But if anyone wants to join up, like, just message me after and I'll send you a code, and then we can both get points. And then everyone wins. Well, almost everyone. I might even buy shares in Afterpay. Still not an ad. Imagine having the money to randomly go and buy houses. Is it? Oh, sorry, that's mine. Can we just answer that? Hello?
Hello, are you busy at the moment?
Little.
Well, I've got Annie on the phone.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Aunt, you gotta back up.
Yes?
I gotta back up. What, my car? What you talking about?
No, you gotta move back from the camera.
Sorry, it's my son.
Well, I'm on my iPhone. Is this an iPhone?
Yeah, but we're on video call.
I bought her an iPad for
Well,
Christmas.
what are you gonna do?
Back up from the camera.
Hi, son. What's going on?
Like this?
Yeah, like that, but a little bit more.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on?
What are we doing here?
Well, I got Mum on the phone.
Yes.
Oh! Lainey, where are you, bub?
I'm in Melbourne, Aunt. My friends.
Yeah, well, can you send me a bingo prize?
Uh-huh.
And give me and send me extra $20. I want to go to the club afterwards.
Right.
With the sisters.
And you're going with Mum?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't you go last night?
Yeah. Michael, did you wanna?
And Mum, can you send me and Andrew some money so I can go get the dog some food? Because Bear had all of his food last night.
Oh, yes. Anything for Bear?
Okay. Well, how are you gonna send that money? You're gonna
what?
Michael, where's she gonna send it to?
Andrew's card.
To the card, radio. I'll send it to the card. Yes.
Lainey, you got that? You're gonna send that to Andrew's card.
Yes, I will send it to Andrew's card.
And what? And how are we gonna? Michael, you're gonna come pick me up?
Yep.
You're right. Then you're gonna go and get her and all
All
that.
right then. Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, darling. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Love you. Oh wow.
She probably won't send me any money, which she sat me at the club there 4 hours last week. Wouldn't pick me up. And then when I was trying to ring her, like I couldn't get her on the. Oh,
you're still on the phone.
Michael, I thought you hung up.
So?
I was just having me and Michael was just having a joke, wasn't we, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Righto.
Okay then. Well, how are we gonna, Michael? You hang me up then, okay?
Alright.
See you. Bye.
Press the button. Bye.
I'm nearly there. Am I? Listen. Money changes the colour of my nails every week. Money covers my greys. Money gives me safety. Money gives my kids safety, never having to want for anything, even though they do want everything. Money has changed my address and, I mean, I'm paying a pretty penny, but it's my pretty penny and I love it. And money has provided comfort. I'm comfortable looking out at the beautiful sunset, setting over the beach, beautiful water, my beautiful beachside townhouse, all the while worrying about where next month's rent is coming from. Where is that money going to come from? Oh, my big paycheck from tonight, that's right, yeah, right. As our fearless leader and queen, Mama RuPaul, said, all sins are forgiven once you start making a lot of money. But also in the words of my auntie, make sure you save me that bingo price, bub.
She's going to be furious when she finds out we booked her on Afterpay. First payment's in 2 weeks. Folks, money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you Lloyd Langford, and he's fun to cry with. Please welcome third speaker of The Negative, the heavily discounted
Hello, my teammates have already conclusively proved that money changes nothing, and I am just here as the icing on the cake, the nail in the coffin, the plug in the butt. I can prove actually to you that money changes nothing. On the way to the show earlier on today, I was walking along and I saw a man in difficulty in the Yarra, and he was screaming for help, and I was like, look mate, I haven't got anything. Like, I'm not, sorry, but I'm broke. And he's very insistent, so eventually I opened my wallet and threw him in some cash, and it was at this point he got angry. And I very patiently explained to him that he should calm down, as Australian money is waterproof. As indeed are the coins of every nation. But he would not debate me, and like a coward, slipped out of view into the murky depths. Money changed nothing. But ladies and gentlemen, I am not here to talk about needlessly avoidable deaths. We all saw Reuben's gala set. I'm just joking, of course I did not see it. I am here to talk about the literal personification of money's failure to change things, billionaires. So please cast your eyes on these 4 fucking losers. I will now eviscerate them one by one. First up, we'll go to Elon Musk. There he is, electric car pioneering, private jet using ding-dong. Richest man in the world right now, and despite his documented hair transplant, we'll have a look at that. Yes, a man who remains intrinsically bald. Even his soul is bald. Money can't buy you everything. It can't buy you the sense not to call a cave diver who saved the lives of trapped children a pedo because your own suggested rescue idea of a submarine was unfit for purpose. Also, Elon, you're the one who wanted to put a bunch of vulnerable kids in your own privately built submarine that you express delivered from America to Thailand. That is, no, I won't say it. It can't stop you from investing in Twitter, a site seemingly now solely populated by bots and racists, like if Pauline Hanson ran Westworld. He spent $4 billion buying 9% of Twitter because he really wanted to implement an edit button. Yeah, I bet you wish you had the edit button when you called that diver a nonce. If you had $4 billion, what would you buy? I mean, you could buy a zoo and fill it full of Hollywood A-list celebrities instead of animals, and invite your friends around and be like, oh, okay, let's go and watch Leonardo DiCaprio try to attract a mate. Okay, but we need to be done by 3 p.m. as we've got to go see John Travolta being fed. Or you could buy 1/10 of Twitter. Money can't stop you naming your children daft things. Elon Musk named his children XASH-A12, which feels like me trying to come up with an online password that fits all of the criteria. Capital letters, a number, and a special character. His recent child is called Exadark Sidereal Musk, which I thought was the liquid extracted from a stork's anal gland used to make perfume. Elon Musk is a teenage boy's idea of a good person, and we all know teenage boys are 70% acne and 30% cum, so maybe aren't the best judges of character. Elon Musk is thrice divorced, 2 of those by the same woman. an actress called Tallulah Riley married him and divorced him twice. Looking at her back catalogue, I thought her most disappointing sequel would have been St. Trinian's 2, The Legend of Fritton's Gold, but no, she married this absolute ding-dong twice. We move on to the next person. We've got Jeff Bezos, I believe. Yeah, there he is. The world's worst boss, some title. Obviously, his company Amazon is riddled with problems. You've got rigid productivity metrics, insufficient break time, does everything in his power to stop his staff from unionizing, unsafe working conditions. He makes Willy Wonka look like a champion of health and safety. It's a sort of ugly face of capitalism you have there. This rictus grin, one twitching eye, cold-blooded. I mean, he looks like a minor Batman villain. I keep waiting for him to forget that he's on camera and accidentally lick his own eyeball. Give the game away. His wife, actually, Mackenzie Bezos, there she is, she left him and she gave away all of her money because she realizes the inherent pointlessness of accumulated billion-dollar wealth. Jeff's wife left him and he went into outer space. Which is, I guess, what billionaires do rather than cry wank in the dark listening to the Smiths. You go through a bad breakup, you know, most people do something dramatic to their hair. I guess that option wasn't open to him. He left the atmosphere to go and be with life forms more similar to himself. Bezos is the owner of the world's largest yacht, a luxury $500 million super yacht. Now, is this the face of a man who you'd have fun with on a yacht? Or is it the face of a man who is stowed away in the hold and will stalk you for the rest of the journey? Whilst also stalking you, he will keep a spreadsheet of all the staff's work hours so they don't take more than their allocated breaks. We'll move on to the next one, which is Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, if you thought the first two looked odd, check out this background character in Star Trek looking motherfucker. Sporting the absolute worst fringe since Adelaide. Seriously, Mark Zuckerberg, he never looks right. I have some photographs of him here. Here's him trying to drink water. That's not the only meme of him awkwardly drinking water. Here's a photograph of him surfing. Yeah, I did not know sunscreen went up to warp factor. Here's him testifying to Congress, utilizing a booster seat. All that money, but you cannot extend his length. I think Fern was talking earlier on about money making men more attractive, and he has $74.5 billion. Still not enough, is it? Still. No. I mean, I would not trust him with a sandwich, let alone my genital area. Aesthetically speaking, most of us wouldn't piss on him when he's on fire, you know? Which he often is when he short circuits. In 2009, he set a personal challenge to himself to wear a tie every day for a year. Everything he does appears to be a robot trying and failing to pass the Turing test. Now I'm getting fucking heckled by Quasimodo. I was referring to the bell, not your humped back. Because I talk so slowly, I feel like I should have extra time. Yeah, I haven't even got on to Hughesy yet. I mean, I just want to say he's responsible for Facebook, which is sort of like the Kevin Bloody Wilson of the social media landscape. It hasn't worked for ages, racist and mainly popular with boomers. Last and by all means least, Husey, I do have a problem, and it's with your vastly accumulated wealth, like some sort of larrikin Scrooge McDuck. The sort of energy drink guzzling Omicron variant of Australian television. Mildly annoying, though fucking everywhere. Opinionated and ultimately ill-informed Twitter user. Husey, I don't know if you know this, is a housing tycoon. Never play Monopoly, he already owns all of the properties. I've got a map here of his actual property ownership, and that's... Now, if Rove takes Perth, we're essentially in a sort of shit sandwich. In June 2001, Dave Hughes was one of the few people to be granted a one-on-one interview with the Dalai Lama during his visit to Australia. Does anyone know what Husey asked the Dalai Lama? He asked the Dalai Lama to bless Carlton. Feels like a missed opportunity, doesn't it? It's the most spiritual person on earth. It's like asking the second coming of Christ to help you put some shelves up, you know? At least Jesus had a background in carpentry. I mean, the Dalai Lama knows more about squirting than he does Carlton. I think these four men, their money has changed nothing. The money has magnified their flaws. It hasn't solved any of their flaws. You know, they should be pics of embarrassment about their deep involvement in Facebook and Tesla and Amazon, and perhaps most shamefully of all, the project. You know, Okay, Quasimodo's getting angry. I just wanted to say, as a final gesture to prove that money changes absolutely nothing, I am going to give away my fee, my entire fee for this performance, to a member of the audience, maybe a child or something, and then we can come back here in 10 years and see if the money has materially affected their life for the better. So, you there, hello? You all right? What's your name? Pardon? Your name? Casper. Oh, okay. So Casper, I've got a checkbook here. One of the few people still to have one. I'm going to write you out a check for $5,000, and you can have my whole fee for the thing, right? And actually, because it's like being filmed, can we get like a bigger check? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. You'll notice that it says 4,500, but I had to pay for the check. So that's actually not big enough. I'm not giving him that. Do we have a bigger check? You can come and get... Don't you worry, Casper, any bank will accept that. Now all we have to do is wait. I've been Lloyd Langford, thank you.
All right, well, it's time for rebuttal. I'm very, very thrilled to invite back the team captain for affirmative to have his very best go at rebutting bird call, a history lesson, or whatever else that was. That was a man never working in Australian comedy again. Please welcome Reuben Kaye.
As a white, cisgendered homosexual under threat, it is time for me to start the ad hominem selection of the night. Cal Wilson, you hypercolor chia pet. Pick a fucking color. You're the only pro-vax comedian with enough money to look anti-vax. This whole outfit just screams, I do my own research. You called me a human Spiegel tent, and you know what? I'll take that as a compliment. I am a bit like a circus. I'm great under a big top. I can work wonders with 3 rings, and I've fucked more acrobats than Cirque du Soleil's legal team. Cal, you tried to say that money couldn't change who we were because we had to fight so much for it. Well, we only had to fight so hard for who we were because we didn't have enough money to begin with to just be. We didn't have enough resources to have the bare minimum that people with 8 cats and those dangly earrings that scream arts administrator have. Sami, it is a joy to see someone attempt to wax denim on such a large stage. Hearing you talk about the difference between comedy and art was so enlightening as you provided neither tonight. In fact, what you did was you gave us 10 minutes of our life with all the information of a TED Talk and all the humor of a TED Talk. You talked about money being a concept, and the fact is, yes, money is a concept like everything, like beauty, like gender. And if gender is a concept, how do I put a concept in my mouth? Cal, the only people who say money doesn't change everything are the people with enough money to not worry about it. Almost like the same people who have enough money to not worry about giving 4.5 grand to a fucking child.
It was actually...
I'm talking. There may be another needless death tonight. They have a base level of happiness for them that is just fine. They're not aware of how miserable life can get because they have a buffer. Some people don't have that base level of happy. Look at Fern Brady. She hasn't smiled since the womb. And Lloyd, my God. Your set was so straight and dull, I gave it a hand job in the bathroom while its wife wasn't looking. That is, of course, a metaphorical wife, because Lloyd's wife is, of course, comedy legend Anne Edmonds. Spare a thought for Anne Edmonds, stuck at home with a whiny, weeping, red-faced, attention-seeking thing latched onto her nipple that can't even wipe itself, and her newborn. You said that you wouldn't fucking sleep with Mark Zuckerberg for $75 billion? Are you fucking kidding me? For $75 billion? This jaw would drop faster than my knickers in a Turkish oil wrestler's dressing room. I'd let Mark Zuckerberg use me as his personal toilet for that much money. Which is not that bad because a diet of silicon husks and private data means he just shits like a wombat. Small, square, easily digestible. Of course, money changes everything. Just ask the delivery drivers so scared they'll get fired that they frequently work 14-hour days and urinate in Gatorade bottles to avoid bathroom breaks. And ask me, who doesn't even have enough money to buy those Gatorade bottles for personal reasons that I can't disclose on national television. Ask the factory workers who are so scared they'll get fired that they show up to work sick with COVID. Ask the women who are so scared of being fired that they don't report misogyny, sexism, or sexual harassment. Of course, money changes everything. All you have to do is ask the people who don't have it. If money didn't change, thank you very much for that applause. Of course, we had to fight for what we have today. Fern Brady had to struggle through Scottish strip clubs, taking off her money for Glaswegian leery-eyed men. Elaine Crombie had to struggle through racism, sexism, society's judgment of a single mother. And I had to struggle through 4 years of dance school and also Lloyd Langford set. If money didn't change everything, churches would pay their taxes instead of hush money. Billionaires wouldn't hide their money in trusts, charities, and secret bank accounts. Intergenerational wealth wouldn't be as impenetrable as a cement condom. And if money didn't change everything, then actual positive change for society would be so much easier because people would be getting something they value out of it. No one likes feeling good if there's not a receipt attached to it. Feeling good is only good if it's tax deductible. And the galling thing, the shittest thing, is that Bezos, Musk, and Branson have turned their dick measuring contest to the sky. After they've made so much money out of human misery, the best thing they can do is continue to make us pay to help shoot them into space. They've given up on this planet and have turned their exit strategy into a marketing exercise, thinking, fuck this pressure cooker, it's only a few more years before this planet goes on fan force, so let's jump ship. And we're just watching, waving flags, and still buying their products, believing in trickle-down economics, which is already enough to give me a rage stroke. The only reason it's called trickle-down economics is because the people who want you to believe in it are pissing in your pocket when they say it will benefit you. Billionaires are the new gods, and we as a society are happy to worship them. So if we ever look back and see only one set of footprints in the sand, it's because they've all blasted themselves into space, and we're alone on the beach drowning as the oceans rise and our forests burn. Now, I may not be a humble man. I may not be a smart man. I may not be a man at all. To be honest, several doctors are still wondering what I am. But one thing not me, over there. But one thing I do know is that what wins people over even more than money is children. Beautiful, cute, disgusting children who we have paid a disgustingly small amount. And now, know in your hearts, tonight hasn't been a debate about money, but of the human spirit, about what we know to be true in our hearts as we strive for a better world. A utopia, a Garden of Eden that is within our grasp if we only had the courage to reach for it by voting yes today. We all know the importance of voting. You've done it once before, even if you're not registered, even if you do it multiple times. Today, Australia, vote yes, vote for me! For us, the affirmative. Get the kids off. Get the kids off. And I know this is a lot, right? I know this is filmed on Easter Sunday, so it might not be exactly what Jesus had in mind. But I love Jesus. I love any man who can get nailed for 3 days straight and come back for more. They're wearing my word.
Well, it's time for the negative team to attempt to rebut what was essentially just 30 minutes of promotion of Reuben Kaye merch, expensive pussy, and Elaine Crombie's dog's Instagram account. Good luck to you, Cal Wilson!
We don't have a children's choir, unfortunately, because we choose not to manipulate infants. But I'm psychic. I said you should go into politics, and then you did your speech at the end. It was quite amazing. Now, what we have done is we have spent $1,500 on Reuben Kaye's merch. We have given him money, and we're going to prove that money doesn't change anything, because you're not going to throw the debate because we gave you money, are you? By the way, I have got the rest of the T-shirts out in my car, and I'll be selling them after the show for a small markup from the boot of my car. You're not going to change and want us to win the debate because we spent money on you. Like, going to your website, also I noticed there was a lot of things saying sold out, but I don't think you have. I think you've maintained your integrity. Oh, so much was covered tonight. Our team covered everything from Mesopotamian shekels to missed opportunities with the Dalai Lama and Lloyd nearly crushing a child with a cheque, which was wonderful. Fern, Brady, I loved your speech. I'm going to think of you forever now as a boob entrepreneur. And yes, I do have expensive cats, but because I talk about them on stage, they are tax deductible. Elaine Crombie, I love that she was a secret Afterpay agent. I love that, you know, your dog has an Instagram, but your sons don't seem to, so we can see what your priorities are.
Hey, they've grown. They got their own account.
And then Reuben coming on stage again with his simmering fury. I sort of felt like, I felt concerned when he started to lecture me. I sort of felt like, oh my God, he's going to make me compete in toddlers and tiaras because he's dressed like one of the mums. I'm genuinely thrilled to be told that I look like an anti-vaxxer because that way I can infiltrate them and make change. Do you know, when I see them protest on the steps of Parliament, I have these terrible thoughts sometimes, and I think to myself, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, I think to myself, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could just get a crop dusting plane and just fly it over Parliament and vaccinate them all? Like how... I mean, I know that's not how vaccines work. You need magnets, so... Reuben, you slammed me for not being able to pick a colour. I thought of you. I thought that you, of all people, would appreciate the rainbow. And also, my one thought as you were telling me off was, I will not be lectured to by a sleep paralysis demon who's been to Spotlight. Oscar Wilde said, when I was young, I thought money was the most important thing in life, and now that I'm old, I know that it is. That is Oscar Wilde. Of course, he also said, there is only one thing worse than not being talked about, and that is being misquoted on the internet. And because we can't just take Oscar Wilde's word on everything, let's hear from Benjamin Franklin, because if there's anyone that's got a grasp on the situation, it's old, dead white guys. Benjamin Franklin said, money never made a man happy, yet nor will it. The more a man has, the more he wants. Instead of filling a vacuum, it makes one. Benjamin Franklin there, the inventor of the bagless vacuum cleaner. But he did that for the love of a clean floor and not for money. And because we haven't heard enough from dead American presidents, I feel that it's okay to consult them because they are generally on the money. Abraham Lincoln said, my old father used to have a saying, if you make a bad bargain, hug it all the tighter. Now, I don't know what the fuck Abraham Lincoln's father was on about. But to be honest, the internet is the thing that let me know it, not money. In fact, in hindsight, it's not love that changes everything, it's the internet. All the lyrics I've quoted, all of the pictures I've found, they've all come off the internet. And I haven't paid a thing for it. I just sneaked onto the town hall's Wi-Fi, which is called I Am Your Nightmare, by the way. It's not money, it's the internet that changes everything, that allows us to find our people, that shows us who we can be, that allows us to buy merch that we will regret having. It tells us we're the best place for us to be. At the end of our lives, as we lie on our deathbeds, separately, I'm not suggesting we all go at once, but as we all lie on our deathbeds, it's not money that's going to soothe us. It's not going to soothe our fear. Money's not going to smooth our brow and hold us as we stare into the encroaching dark. It's love and funny cat videos on the internet. Thank you very much.
Well, it's time. Before we find out who won, I'll get you to give a big hand to everyone you've heard from today. Reuben, Kaye, Fern, Brady, Elaine, Crombie, Wilson, Sami, Shah, Lloyd, Langford, and Anne Edmonds, who was here in spirit. So, which honeys got your monies? Whose chuckles get your buckles? Which lot gets the pot? Was it the affirmative? Was it the negative? All right. No, I absolutely didn't give you thinking time in between. Let's try it again, okay. The negative? Delicious. The affirmative? Well, the negative did pass me $50 earlier to tell me to throw it their way, but as they've successfully argued, money doesn't change anything, so the affirmative take it! Woo, yeah! Can I get all debaters up as I fire the negative team's fee all over the glorious winners? Please give it up for everyone who worked on the debate today.